My father used to hit me for breathing too loud. Not an exaggeration. I was maybe 8, lying on the couch watching cartoons with the flu. I guess I was congested or wheezing or something. He stormed in from the garage, yelled, "God damn it, shut up," and slapped me hard enough to bloody my lip. That was the first time I realized being his son meant walking through a minefield with no map. He wasn't an alcoholic. He wasn't mentally ill, at least not diagnosed. He was just cruel. Cruel like gravity. Always there. Always pulling you down. And no one outside our house ever seemed to notice. Teachers loved him. Neighbors thought he was charming. Oh, Big Mike? Salt of the earth. He taught me to drive by screaming until I stalled the engine. He taught me to shave by slapping the razor out of my hand when I nicked my chin. He taught me to be a man by breaking me down bit by bit until I stopped crying entirely around age 11. I moved out the day I turned 18. Never looked back. I'm 34 now. Got my own apartment. A halfway decent job in IT support. A cat named Otto who hates everyone but me. I was doing okay. Quiet. Unremarkable. Free. Then I got the call. It was his neighbor, some sweet older woman named Eleanor who'd always bring him casseroles, I guess. She found him collapsed on his kitchen floor. Stroke. Second one. This one worse. She said the hospital needed a contact. I told her I wasn't the right person. Then she said he doesn't have anyone else. And for some reason I went. He didn't recognize me at first. His face was partially paralyzed, slurred speech, weak on the left side. They said he'd need home care, physical therapy, help with basic functions. Someone to make sure he didn't burn down the house trying to make toast. And when the doctor asked if he had family willing to take him in, he looked at me with those same pale, freezing eyes I grew up under and whispered, "My son will." I should have said no. I should have laughed and walked out. But something in me, maybe guilt, maybe spite, maybe some leftover child inside hoping he'd finally say sorry, said yes. So now he's in my apartment. My father, the man who once shoved my head underwater for talking back, is in my guest room with a walker and adult diapers and a plastic bottle of pills I have to manage. Some nights he calls out in his sleep. Some nights he forgets where he is. And I hate how much it hurts to see him like this. I hate that I feel anything at all. I keep waiting for the moment when I stop flinching around him. Or for him to apologize. But mostly there's just silence. The same kind that used to come before the bell. He wakes me up at 3:14 a.m. by knocking over the bedside lamp. Not my lamp, his. The one I put on the nightstand in the guest room, which used to be my home office before this all started. I find him sitting on the floor, half covered by the blanket, one leg twisted underneath him, trying to push himself upright with the walker tipped over beside him. "Don't call anyone," he mumbles, slurred and breathy. I just slipped. I don't say anything. I help him up. His body feels small now. Fragile. Bones under soft weight like damp cardboard. This is the same man who once cracked 2 of my ribs when I left the garage light on. And now I'm holding him like a sick animal. I put him back in bed. He groans, shifts, then goes still. Before I leave the room, I hear him mutter, "This place is too cold." I close the door. The next morning, I find a note on the fridge. "Need coffee? Black. Not that weak shit. No, please. No, thanks." I stare at it for a long time. Then crumple it and throw it in the trash. I wish I could say I'm some kind of saint. That I'm doing this because I believe in second chances, or forgiveness, or whatever the hell people write in memoirs when they come back from soul-searching trips to Nepal. But I'm not. I don't feel noble. I feel angry. All the time. Angry when I help him shower. Angry when I watch him shuffle down the hall. Angry when I catch myself softening, then feel disgusted by that softness. Sometimes he talks. Little things. "Where'd you get this couch? You still listen to that weird jazz crap? Your mother would have hated this wallpaper." He never talks about her in full sentences. "She died when I was 15. Brain aneurysm. Sudden. She was kind. Quiet. I don't remember much of her voice, just that she never yelled. That alone made her a stranger in our house." One afternoon, while I'm microwaving soup for him, he asks, "You still afraid of me?" It's not accusatory. Not even smug. It's empty. Like he's asking about the weather. I stare at the soup spinning in the microwave. "Not anymore," I say. He doesn't respond. Doesn't nod. Doesn't grunt. Just sips the soup when I hand it to him and turns on the news. But the thing is, it's not true. I am still afraid. But not of his hands. Of what I might become. Because every time I clench my jaw, every time I snap at a barista, every time I feel that fire in my chest when someone bumps into me on the train, I hear his voice in mine, and I wonder if the damage he did stopped at my skin, or if it got deeper. Sometimes, when I'm brushing my teeth late at night, I imagine saying it. All of it. You were cruel. You were terrifying. You made me hate waking up. But I never do, because part of me still doesn't think he'd care. And another part thinks he might say he doesn't even remember. It started with a shoebox. I found it by accident, looking for batteries in the hall closet. Old, dusty, shoved behind a pile of holiday crap we never used. I pulled it out thinking it might be photos of Mom. It wasn't. It was full of letters, unsent, all addressed to me, all written by him. The first one started with, "I don't expect you to read this. I just need to write it down so I don't scream." Some of them were angry, venomous, even blaming me for not visiting, for abandoning him. Others were full of regret, messy, apologetic half-thoughts that read like they were written between nightmares. I don't know how to say sorry for something I don't even understand doing. I was angry all the time. I don't remember why. You were just there. I was a storm and you were a wall and I couldn't stop hitting you. I sat on the floor and read through 10 years of unmailed confessions. And I didn't know what the hell to feel. Some part of me wanted to burn them. Another part wanted to wake him up and shove them in his face. See? You knew. But I didn't do either. I just put the box back, right where I found it. 2 nights later, I cracked. I had a few drinks. Too many. Sitting in the kitchen, lights off. Just the hum of the fridge and Otto curled up on the chair across from me. He came in slowly, using the walker. Sat down. No words. Then I said it. Everything. I didn't plan to, but it came out, like pressure finally bursting a pipe. "I was terrified of you," I said. "You'd hit me for no reason. You humiliated me in front of my friends. You made me feel like a burden just for existing." He didn't interrupt. I kept going. "You don't get to act like that didn't happen just because your brain's foggy now. I've lived with it every single day. Every job interview, every relationship, every fucking mirror." Still, he didn't say anything. So I stood up, fists clenched. "I want you to feel it, damn it. The same helplessness. I want you to know what it's like to live in a house where you flinch at every footstep. I want you to wake up and remember every time you made me feel like I was one breath away from deserving pain." Then he finally looked at me, and he said, "I don't." His voice was soft, not defensive, just hollow. "I don't remember half of what I did, not because it didn't happen, because I was already gone back then." He looked down at his hands, frail and pale. "I was raised by a man 10 times worse. No excuse, just fact. I tried to be better. I failed. Miserably." He looked up. "I'm not asking you to forgive me. I don't think I deserve that. But if you want me to hate myself, I already do." I stood there for a long time. Then I left the kitchen. I couldn't look at him anymore. Not because I was angry, but because for the first time, he looked ashamed. And I didn't know what to do with that. Last week, his doctor pulled me aside after an appointment. "His condition's stabilizing," he said, "but his memory might not improve much. And the physical care he needs, it's long-term. We need to start discussing facility placement." I nodded, didn't argue, didn't say what I was thinking. I've been thinking about it every day for months. The truth is, I've been planning this quietly, researching, visiting places, running numbers, trying to convince myself it's not abandonment, it's boundaries. Because here's what nobody tells you about caring for the person who broke you. It doesn't heal you. It doesn't make the nightmares go away. It doesn't reverse the years you spent thinking you were the problem. It doesn't give you the childhood you deserved. All it does is remind you every single day who they used to be and who you had to become to survive them. The morning I told him, it was raining. He was sitting by the window, watching water trail down the glass like it meant something. I said, "I found a place. Good staff. Clean. Close enough that I can visit if I want to." He just nodded. Didn't ask which one. Didn't ask when. Didn't ask why. Then, without turning around, he said, "Do you ever wonder what kind of father you would have been if you had someone better than me?" It hit me like a punch I didn't expect. I sat down beside him. I used to, I said. Now I wonder if I'll ever be one at all. He looked at me for a long moment. His mouth moved like he wanted to say something else. But he didn't, so I stood up, packed his meds, called the van. And when they came to take him, he didn't resist. Just gripped the edge of the walker one last time and said, "Thank you for not turning into me." That night I sat on the couch. Same spot where I used to sleep, just to be far from his door. Otto jumped up beside me. Aaron called, "We've been talking again. There's a future there. Maybe." And I realized something. I'll never get the apology I wanted. Not in the way I wanted it. Not with tears or dramatic confessions, or some perfect line that finally makes the pain worth it. But maybe I don't need it anymore. Maybe walking away, without hate in my throat, is enough. Maybe the fact that I survived him is the apology.